morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses on an absolutely glorious pre-Travers card. He's Jonathan Kinchin. I'm Andy Serling. We got 12 to talk about. You excited? You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm
All
ready
right.
to go. I'm a little nervous about this. It's been stressing me out all day. This dunk tank. See how this goes. My fear is probably different than your fear about the dunk tank.
I have no fear. And I'll be in the dunk tank at 1, by the way, over by Dunkin' Donuts. Jonathan will be in at 2:15.
2:15, yeah.
My fear of the dunk tank is none. I mean, it's for a good cause, and that's all that matters. And I told them when they asked me if you'll sign up, I said, I know that JK will do it, and you did, and we appreciate that.
Of course,
really,
of
because
course.
it's for a great cause. It's for the Backstretch Employee Services team, and an organization that does an enormous amount on a daily basis for the workers here. And you don't want to tell people, everybody has their own issues as far as giving money, but they are somebody to keep in mind. BEST, B-E-S-T, to keep in mind if you're given a few dollars, and if you want to come and give a few dollars to Dunkus, come on over. Happy to do it for the charity. I don't have a lot of fears on it, but I am a little worried about my hair. You know, I spent a lot of time on my hair this morning. You can't really tell. You, on the other hand, are you wearing a shower cap? You will get ridiculed more if you wear a shower
No,
cap.
my wife's been yelling at me about a shower cap, but I'm like, when I go in the water, it's going to – you've done this before. Do you go all the way under?
I float because, I have certain qualities that others don't have, but you will probably go under.
Oh, no, this is going to be tough.
I will just warn you a little in advance, and we have to get going. It's a little bit of a shock to the system. It does, and each time is a shock to the system. It's an experience. Everybody should have it, I guess. Anyhow, Naira Bets, that's an experience you all should have as well. Go over to nairabets.com. Use the promo code SPOT250, and we will match with $250 of your initial deposit. Track stats, check them out at Naira Bets as well. And if you come over and you dunk us, remember, it's all in good fun, and it's all for a good cause, Check your anger at the door. The guy who was angry when I did it before was the only guy that didn't dunk me. He was flailing away throwing the ball. Like, dude.
Checks out.
And you might be surprised to hear I did a little heckling. I like to heckle because I end up in the water anyway, so might as well have a little fun before I get dropped in the water. $15 bonus, 75 or more at each Saratoga and Penn National tonight, of course, for Penn National. $15 win or lose. Head over to Naira Bets for that. 50,000 Travers hit and split. Select multi-race bets. Check out nairabets.com to get more information on that. Get out of here, B. We're busy here. Please, men at work. Hit the road. Saratoga contest for Travers Day, $300 buy-in. There's nothing around here that you want. That's water. Go away. Get out of here. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Why don't you spend some money and dunk me? Stop bothering me on the set. It's a very annoying yellow jacket. All right, $300 buy-in for that, cash and seat prizes, etc. A little bit of a rough go to start the show. Cross Country Big Five, Woodbine, Monmouth, Woodbine, Saratoga, Woodbine. There you go. Personal Ensign in there from here. Couple stakes. It is King's Plate Day at Woodbine. Rough day for them on King's Plate Day on Sunday. Glad to see they're getting it off today. We start at 12:30 until 7 or 6, 7 I think tonight. I think it is, or is it? I think it's 7, yeah. Anyhow, FS2, catch all the action. All right, race number 1. I'm assuming the one scratched, obviously, with the unfortunate passing of John Hendrickson, which I'm sure many of you know about, and we've talked about quite a bit. Kind of was hoping to see the Mary Lou Whitney horse in sort of in honor of them, but it may be more complicated than that. You scratched into the 3. I have the 3. Senza Barole on top, but have at it.
Yeah, and look, it's the work seemed well. I noticed in the workout report that IRAD worked the 4 ice cream boat. I assumed that this was a choice. I think at this point he's riding equally for Todd and Chad, and I went with IRAD in here and the horse that he land on.
I guess there's a big story on Brad Cox, the L&J Foxwood Church Street stable horse, and the outside the Gervin that is even money right now. Wow. So it's early, but that one seems to be taking a lot of attention. We both have that one second. Spun Candy is the one with experience. Take a look at the last race. I don't think it was bad. Interestingly enough, this was immersive. Didn't get bet for Brad Cox, and one of the reasons didn't get bet was getting badly outworked by a New York bred. Well, that New York bred ran the other day and buried the field. Now, I didn't see the fig on it. I don't know if you have. But this horse did run to horse and ran pretty well and has that experience and speed for Dallas Stewart, who quietly has had a good meet here.
Experience and speed always dangerous in these spots. I felt like Travers Day, these 2-year-old races. I feel like some of these connections save some of their good ones for days like this. I don't think there's any Uncle Mo's in here or anything like that, but I do think that I was
Well,
short
they're
with the
fillies, so if there's an Uncle Mo
There's an uncle
here,
who's a
it's
big
real
problem. Real problem. Somebody's going to be in trouble. But yeah, I mean, definitely ran well last time. You don't want to take that away from him.
All right, we'll see what happens in race number 1. Race number 2 at a mile. I struggled here. There are some scratches. I don't think, I guess maybe Pulled Punch the Clock is the one horse that would have taken some money in play here. And I struggled here because you look at the Just Music and Enigmatic race, right? And Enigmatic gets 1 furlong less and is the controlling speed. I'm just a little bit skeptical of a horse that probably took advantage of a bias 2 races back, and I don't know, man. The way she stopped last time, I don't trust her. But is she the horse to beat today?
I mean, I feel like she is. I had the 5 Punch the Clock second. I was going to pick that horse on top. I was trying to look for an alternative, but every alternative I had knocks on too. So I felt like let me just get the fastest horse in this spot. If you're playing the early pick 5, I felt like leaning on Just Music. I picked the 7 Enigmatic second, but I wasn't crazy about it. Like I said, I didn't like that performance last time either. But the horse is tactical.
She is loose, and maybe she's the horse to beat. And I'm not. My problem with Just Music is the 1 for 13 with 7 seconds. I'm starting to wonder if this is a horse, and the race she won was a 4-horse off the turf race, a 1.25 miles at 3 to 5, and I'm just wondering if she's a horse just doesn't want to win. Now, as far as Elliptic, she was bad last time, and I liked her last time, and she was bad. However, it was a sloppy track. And if you go back to a really good dirt race, the race she was claimed out of by Bill Morey before she ran way above her head in her next start, I think she ran a race that could win here. And I thought, she'll be a price in here. I don't trust the 3. I don't trust the 7. I thought I'd give her one more chance on a dry track. I am not in any way endorsing her as a strong selection on my part. She is sort of my alternative selection, not liking others.
Yeah, 3 of her 6 races she's broke slowly. So obviously in 2 of her last races. So hopefully she can get that resolved. I feel like she's probably not good enough if she breaks slowly to then overcome that. So I think that her race will be won or lost at the start.
We'll see what happens in race number 2. A lot of indecision. Race number 3, I believe we agree, and we'll take a look at 2 races back for Be Like Clint when finishing 3rd. And, both of you and I are, you less than me, but I have Breeze 2nd. I think that Breeze sort of found the right situation, getting to the front last time, being ridden aggressively. And with the presence of Union Trail in here and also Born Dancer, I don't see the same trip with Breeze, and I'm not ready to decide that Breeze has turned a corner, whereas Be Like Clint is just consistent. And I felt like maybe he was the most reliable horse in this race.
Yeah, shows up. You get when you get Irad or Flavian drawn toward the inside in a turf race, it's comforting to me because I know they're going to stay down there, ride with confidence, save ground, and make good decisions to get out of spots when they get in bad spots. And I just felt like this horse was the best. Ran well last time, wide all the way around there, going the 11 furlongs, and just gets
got a little away from the rider. Inside in the first turn, then just sort of got away from the rider. Was out in the middle of the track, and I just think a hard horse for Javier to handle in that situation. I agree. I ended up with him on top. I have more respect. Oh no, you have Breeze 2nd. I'm sorry, you had the other picks up, and I was confusing them. I think Harry Hood is a little dangerous. I liked him last time. He did save ground the whole way, but he also was never in a position where he could win, and he has run well going longer before.
Yeah, no, I don't. He's, I like that race, that last race. I think Better Bet is very good, for this group, this level. Yep. I think he's very good. I liked him a lot that day. So all these horses that exit there that ran pretty well, especially Harry Hood with no trip at all. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Because I don't want you to get in trouble with your friend Bob Edwards, who originally named this horse. I'm going to let you in a secret. He's named for a Fish song.
I knew that. I've been to a Fish concert before. Just one. It was wild. It was.
Really?
Yeah. It was.
Where'd you go?
It's back last year. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. My wife drugged me. The odd thing. The sleeve was big fish. Not the parents.
Really.
Yeah. Ronnie and huge.
I've been to a bunch of Fish shows. My friend Sean is a huge fan. But I have enormous respect for them. Incredible musicians. Amazing. But I think it's more, people look at the Dead. It's not all like the Dead. It's more like the Allman Brothers, a lot of Mothers of Invention type. They used to play Peace and Regalia.
I just kept asking, is this a new song? Is this the same song?
My dad worked with Trey Anastasio's father when they both worked at ETS in Princeton, outside of Princeton.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look
Interesting,
at that.
Unknown factoid. Race number 4. I want to start with Power Seeker in race number 4, a horse that you have nowhere and I have second. I think he took advantage of the racetrack last time, but I also think he's better at a mile, and I'm not convinced he can't win here. You're just completely against him?
Yeah, of course. I mean, anytime I look at a situation where a horse is clear by 4 at the top, and I don't think that's going to happen to them here, it's usually a downgrade for me.
Do you think he'll be in front?
I
Pace projectors in front. I'm a little skeptical.
I want to see what they're going to do. Rocket Can was a little bit quicker last time from the rail, but still probably doesn't feel fast enough.
Well, I think Castle Chaos. Can they get him to be more aggressive, or has he completely lost his speed? He's your top choice. You are more optimistic about him than I am. I'm skeptical.
I just thought this horse ran so well in the Met Mile. I can't argue with that. I think he's actually pretty good. He was very disappointing last time. He was wide, so I'll try to forgive him a little bit there. But
the rail was good.
Yeah, to run as well as he ran in the Met Mile and the Fred Hooper, I think the horse is pretty darn good.
That was the day where the rail was good for the first part of the card, and I think the track changed later because that race was run like a non-rail race in a manner. So I'm not sure. Look, I struggled here, I want my old friend Unbridled Bomber to get back on track. He's going to need maybe more pace than he gets. I'm not convinced that, listen, I don't think Big Blue Line is impossible. William Walden has had a lot of success when he shipped horses here, and off the claim of the dirt, he's 3 for 10. So I think he's a dangerous guy, and I don't want to, you've got him third, I had him fifth, but I think this is a race where there's a lot of horses that can win that you can't sort of fit in there. I'll tell you who I don't like as the favorite, he's morning line favorite, is Rocket Can. I have never been a fan of this horse, and I think there's too many horses in this race capable of running faster figures than he's ever run before. And as the favorite, if he is, I think he's a bad gamble.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like I said, he had him fourth. I mean, he can win this race, but entirely too interesting of a race with other horses in here. I'm not even, I mean, look, I typically never argue with David, but don't you think Castle Chaos?
I thought he'd be favored. I did. I agree. And listen, David's got him 5-2 and 3-1. He's not expressing a definitive opinion. I like Win It. We'll take a look at Win It's race 2 back. I thought he ran very well. He beat Accretive, Maker's Candy. Maker's Candy was in better form then. Accretive's always capable of running a big race. I love that he draws the outside post because look at a lot of his draws. He draws post 2. He draws post 1, post 4, post 2, post 3, post 2. This is a horse that has some gait issues. And often the outside post, which can be a little problematic in the mile races, but it's a better gait for horses with gait issues, with nobody breaking outside of you. I've always felt this horse had real ability. I know we haven't seen him now for almost 4 months, but he was outside this day. The rail was good at Aqueduct. And I just feel like the outside draw and maybe being fresh, he can get it done at a fair price. I have a thing for this horse.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I think if you want to find an excuse for last time, he was wide, but also he didn't have Lasix. He gets to Lasix here today.
Slow pace, weird race,
no problem
whatever. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I am a Win It fan. Race number 5, we did, I guess, Don't Look Back at All. They're going to go to Kentucky Downs, and Money's Gold is going to run in tomorrow's Ballerina. But you've got the big dogs and Roses for Deborah and Future Is Now. And I am a big Roses and Deborah fan, but I'm going to tell you something. I was extremely impressed with Future Is Now in this race when she held her off, but I was even more impressed with her loss last time. John, I can't speak for you. I find you learn more about horses in defeat often than in victory. And, I mean, she survived a pace that just was falling apart in there. And Dance Macabre came from way back. Don't Look Back at All came from, not as far back, but I thought she ran super last time. And as much as I respect Roses for Deborah, I'm wondering if she's not quite as good this year as she was last year. And if Future Is Now, the future, in fact, is now for her.
Well, Roses for Deborah, I think, is very hopeful that Lady Milagro, the 2, gets away from there, sends away from there.
Go.
Because the Future Is Now walks the dog on the front end.
But even so, isn't she just stalking in second in a comfortable spot?
Yeah, but I mean,
easier if the 2 doesn't go.
Exactly.
Obviously.
I mean, I think she, I think Roses for Deborah has helped if Future Is Now gets at least a little bit of pressure, something to think about on the front end. But I think Roses for Deborah is sensational. I was very disappointed when she got beat in the Intercontinental.
That concerned me. She should have gotten up.
Yeah.
And I'll say something else. They say there's a little give in the ground this time. There's more give in the ground now. I know they're listing as firm. I have trouble believing it's gone because I thought it was on the other side of good even yesterday. So I think it'll be on the good side of firm today. And I'm not saying that's going to bury her, but it's going to probably help the other one more than it helps her.
But Roses for Deborah is 3 for 4 on turf courses not listed as firm.
I agree.
So I don't
know what that course was at Parks, but it wasn't yielding. I think it was Disintegrated.
Yeah.
Is there like a Disintegrated thing? I mean, that was Christoph, shipping her to Parks to run the bog. So you've got Starguest second. I've got her third, almost by default. Why are we supposed to believe that she's going to run better today?
Yeah, you know, I agree with you. I mean,
and I do believe that she will too, but I'm not sure why.
Well, there's only like 5 horses to
No,
pick
no,
from.
I understand, but you've got her ahead of the 7, so
Yeah.
you've got to answer for that, my friend.
No,
we're going to break after 6, by the way.
Yeah, I think she'll come running. Maybe she needed that start. She hadn't run since October. You know, I mean, Charlie Appleby is just so dangerous in these spots. She was wide all the way around there, but she was wide closing into.
She was one of the worst favorites to meet.
Yeah,
and I think you and I were on the air for that race, and I think we both agreed about that last time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think she'll come running. The other thing too is Future is now and Roses for Deborah are going to get into some sort of a battle at some point, and whoever loses that battle, I think, is then ripe for the picking in second.
Okay, we'll see what happens in the Smart and Fancy. I want to say Smart and Fancy was trained by Tony Dutrow. I'm not sure. Somebody can text me, but I thought that she was. Race number 6, I think you and I agree in race number 6, and I think the reason that we agree is neither one of us wants to pick Focus Pocus in here, going 7 furlongs. We'll take a look at the theoretically good race for Focus Pocus when she came up a gold rail, put the field away, and then fell apart and was beaten by a horse that she passed easily. And I'm just getting a little tired for quitting, and I know she's dropping, but she's got speed with Inflammable inside of her. Good luck to her getting 7 furlongs. And I guess isn't Nikki Brainburst just coming out of the better race and wide against a good rail and all that stuff?
This horse is screaming for sale to me. Like been working at Laurel.
Wouldn't you want to sell her if she was yours?
No, of course. Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying that's my point. I feel like this is let's bring her up to Saratoga. There's more buyers at Saratoga in these claiming races.
You think somebody's going to claim this horse? Does she have a pedigree that makes her worth claiming? She's got a heart issue.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a better chance of selling up here than she does at Laurel.
Well, that just depends what the price is, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything even all that creative to say about Nikki Brain Trust except for the fact that, like, I mean,
wide against good rail, better field, race dominated up front. I don't know. I thought it was kind of at least a speed edgy track. I don't think it was a big rail, but kind of speed edge. Smart and Fancy was Tony Dutrow. I'm kind of proud of that. Okay,
it's good.
I'm kind of going to rest that in my laurels.
That's
on
nice.
That. While I'm in the dunk tank, I'm going to think about that. What about Rookie League? I mean, Rookie League is obviously, is Rookie League really, is a Klarovich Chad Brown horse dropping like this in this field really going to be 10-1 here, David? I mean, this horse is terrible. I'm not going to argue that. But I will say one thing about this horse. The first race, this horse was actually running a little bit early. And the second dam was pretty good on the dirt, right? Didn't the second dam like a 105 buyer or something? Was she like a Marty Wolfson horse or something?
I mean, the siblings have been bad too.
No, I agree. But
yeah,
she was actually doing some running when she kind of bolted in her first start. And then she tried to go long. She was awful. Maybe she's just terrible. But in this race, you really want Sendera? Half the price? I'll take Rookie League. I'd rather take a horse that I know she's not much horse. I don't know that she's not much. I like Nikki Brain Trust. Do we know who Nikki Brain Trust is? Is Ray going to wear it? When do you think the mint suit that he wore yesterday gets a second appearance?
I don't know.
I found myself with an odd craving for mint chocolate chip ice cream all night, and I couldn't figure out why. It was because that mint suit that Ray was wearing in the paddock. Not a mint chocolate chip?
No.
Oh, one of my favorites, really.
No. Cookies and creamish,
Learning,
coffee, that type of stuff.
Really? We're learning a lot on this show today. We're going to learn about the final 6 races after a quick break to hear from our good friends at Saratoga Springwater.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
All right, we're back. He's Jonathan, I'm Andy. Thanks to our friends at Saratoga Springwater for their loyal support of Talking Horses. Means a lot to us, and so does Saratoga Springwater. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
They're always back. He could have been a cousin, I'm not sure. so race number 7 on the turf. I think Leaner and Meaner is supposed to be okay. I don't love the draw for her, though. What about you?
This was I picked Leaner and Meaner. I looked on ExpressBet, saw this horse worked on the dirt with Brylan. Brylan won first time out.
She
worked
shouldn't have
well
won.
with Brylan.
She should have lost to the what's his name, Phil Bauer horse.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
But
Brylan's good though. I'm not knocking her.
This is clearly a turf horse. The Grand Dam won first time on turf, won the Virginia Oaks. And when a turf horse can hang with a good dirt horse on the dirt, it gives me a lot of confidence that when they finally get to the surface they want to be on, they're going to run even better. I like the 10 quite a bit in here.
We better hope this horse is a dirt horse. Is Good Conduct the one that Cherie has entered the stake on Wednesday?
I haven't looked at Wednesday yet.
I
can look. I'll pull it up right here.
I think so. I think she entered this horse in the stake. Kind of interesting horse stretching out. That horse did get going late, and that's why I have that horse second. You have her third. I believe she's entered the stake, right? She is. Yeah, I was looking at it this morning, last night, everything. There is a horse tomorrow in a 5.5 furlong turf sprint, first-time star. It's a half to Freddie Flinchier, the jumper that runs around here.
Really?
Is that great? There's also a horse for George Weaver, a Mike Rapoli first-time starter. And I knew the dam looked interesting, and she's the horse Annabeth something that took Zenyatta the wire. Remember, Zenyatta beat her by like a head in one of those races.
Wow.
Remember that?
No, I don't remember that one.
Oh, yeah,
was it the
yeah,
one at Del Mar?
Yeah, I think it was Del Mar. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, just funny pedigree horse.
I might have been there that day, actually.
Were you just post or pre-tattoo?
Oh, I was no tattoos at that point.
You didn't have a Zenyatta tattoo?
Not yet.
All right, I think that horse is dangerous. And listen, we'll look at Rare Art. I mean, I'll tell you what's interesting about Rare Art. She ran well last time. I think that she's a good horse to get a little bit of a barometer about Virgin Colado. Will probably be favored in the P.G. Johnson on Wednesday. And it actually looks like we'll be able to run the P.G. Johnson on the turf. And I love the P.G. Johnson. And it's always great to remember one of the great trainers of my lifetime. Now, people remember his trainer Valponi, but that would be unfair to say that's what P.G. Johnson was. He had such an incredible influence on the game. Because she ran pretty well in here. This was a very slow-paced race. And she did okay, and I think, a good performance by her moves up Virgin Colada. There's no buyer figure. It's a long story with making the numbers. And Time Firm US did not have this race that fast. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, well, the pace was really slow, so I think sometimes when the pace is slow, it's really hard to make a fast figure.
Very good point.
Especially with young horses, because you can't even project, because you don't have anything to work with.
The dam of Rescue Me, Fool's Gold, so remember, I believe she won the Weah here, beating Santa Monica. And she was kind of a going nowhere Chad Brown horse. And I remember this horse as calling Chad once in Florida when she was running at Gulfstream. And I said, I really like Fool's Gold today. And he said, why? She doesn't run well at all. And I said, oh, she's had bad trips. She made 7-1 that day. And then it was going mile 16th. And she went on like a winning streak. And ended up winning stakes that summer. So this horse has a pedigree to be a runner, or more than ready. I mean, why can't this horse be okay?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really like the 8 and the 10, the 8, because you mentioned closing into that slow pace.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting that she these without paroles, huh?
Well, he was a good turf horse.
Yeah.
And John Gunther, you might know, he knows how to breed a good horse.
He can.
Yes, he does. The breeder, of course, of Justify, as well as many other good horses. I mean, listen, the 3 has pedigree in here. There's a lot going on in this race. This has a look of a race that might be okay.
Yeah, and I included the 4, hoping that the Virgin Colada race is is better than what it looks.
It was a little wide, this horse,
yeah.
but wide to nowhere, but was wide, and IRAD does stick. Race number 8. Race number 8, I think 2 things are going to happen. One of 2 things are going to happen here. I'm not as big a fan of the 10 as you, but we'll get to that horse. Transactional, I didn't show a video of Transactional. It's a big drop down, and with 3 scratches is now in post number 9, which I think is important to note. But with the rails down the melon, I don't think we have a decisive edge inside, because the rails have been out so far for a long time in the melon that I think all of the grass in the first 4 paths, you know what I mean? I think they're all pretty pristine, so I think it helps, but it is worth pointing out. I thought if this horse lost, he would lose by somebody in the front end. And I have a question for you. Who is the speed? Union Express or Brigade Commander in here? And we'll look at Union Express last time out, where they were aggressive and he ran well. But is it possible Brigade Commander is a little bit faster?
I don't think it's possible. I think it's certain.
I do too. I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the pace figures alone, and that's why. And here's the thing: that's why I don't like Union Express, and why I picked the 10 is because I thought Union Express made the front in an absolute crawl.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so that's why I
That's fair.
didn't like Union
I
Express.
see what you're saying,
And went
right.
to 10.
That makes
Closing
sense.
in, trying to close into that.
Then it comes down to intention. Can Ramon Vasquez be more aggressive than Johnny? Because Johnny is not a guy that comes firing out of the gate a lot of the time in these races. And I think he's supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's why I put them second and third, because I thought we won on the front end by somebody. I agree with you on the 3, and I thought he was more likely to be on the front end. And, his turf races, he has some turf races that are kind of okay. So talk to me about Scat to Tap. You're not the only person I know that likes this horse.
Yeah, it's just that, I think that Funny Uncle race, I thought the pace was slow.
Yep.
And Scat to Tap was closing into it. Look, I wanted to pick Transactional because I think Transactional is probably just better than these.
That's what I think. I don't trust him either. I don't love the drop downs for Chad Brown.
But his first race, his first race does not match his last 3. And every race he's gotten a pretty good trip down on the inside, saving ground. He's gonna be he's almost doomed to be wide here at some point. And that was why I just couldn't do it. Couldn't pull the trigger.
I wanted to pick against him, and I'm not. I just think he's just better than these horses. And I think you're looking at a 5-year-old in late August that obviously has issues. If somebody wants to claim this horse for 50, good luck to them. I hope they do great with him. But at some point, you have to sort of cut and run, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's such a negative drop down. It's not a 4-year-old in April, And I think they're just kind of moving on from a horse who has issues. I thought race number 9 was a fascinating race here. And I want to start out with the Mariachi race, where I think there's some question. This is Jim Dandy Day, and I think there's a valid argument that the rail was not. It's Ricardo on Union Express, by the way, not Ramon. Thank you, Greg, and Steve. Noda coming up the rail the way he did. I actually thought Noda ran surprisingly well last time. I don't think the rail was dead. Did you have an opinion on this, Jonathan?
I did not. No.
I don't think it was dead, but I think it was a little better outside. And I wonder if it compromised him. And, of course, this is also the race Speakeasy won. And I think it's important because Speakeasy's biting off a lot tomorrow, but he's clearly talented. And I think good performances by horses out of this race kind of bode well for Speakeasy. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if this horse runs well, I think Speakeasy is a lazy horse. And so
he's a good horse, though.
Good,
he may not win tomorrow, but he's a good horse.
No, but he had to be ridden in that race, and so that's for tomorrow. But the problem I had with Noda, why I didn't use was, we both use Timeform US, and I take the blue and red coated fraction seriously when I'm trying to, kind of crack.
It was
some
a
eggs.
moderate pace.
Yeah, and that was the only reason.
I agree, which moves up obviously Speakeasy. Your horse, do you like that Fusky Island because he was outside on a day the rail was very good?
I just thought that he ran pretty darn well last time.
It's his first good race in forever, right?
I know.
I
He
mean,
ran
that's
really
what's
well.
weird about it. He was so good last year, and his form just completely declined, and then he ran super last time. That was the one race that day that the rail did not come massively into play.
Yeah.
But they were all off the rail. Everybody was. You know what I mean?
He got really good, and I guess that race I was like, was he back? Is he back good again?
If he's good back, he's gonna be very tough.
And I don't love taking horses off of Rudy, but the Cantor Mossies I think do a great job, and I don't. So it doesn't make me that uncomfortable.
I think he's dangerous in here. I originally had him higher. I think there's a lot of horses that can win here. I used Noda in there because I thought he was the one horse I wanted out of that race, so I have him third. But I think the new shooters are dangerous. I think Big City is dangerous, a horse that you have fourth, and I'm sure you don't have him fourth thinking he can't win. I mean, what is wrong with his recent races? I thought he ran well in here.
His last race is great.
He's won with Sonny Leone, who has won a Kentucky Derby, by the way. For those of you that never won a Derby, I just want to remind you of that.
But I will say this, though, and I think we both look at it. I treat Gulfstream a little bit like Vegas, like what happens at Gulfstream. Mm-hmm. Potentially could stay at Gulfstream.
You think Steve Asmussen ever sees Sonny Leone riding down in Florida and says to himself, how did this happen to me? What did I do in life to deserve this? I know I would. If I were Steve, I'd still be having nightmares about losing that Derby.
I had futures on Zandon and Epicenter.
At least Chad ran third, so he doesn't have to have that nightmare.
That was the devastating. I missed a flight that day. I had to watch the race from an Uber.
Do you know the ride he gave that horse to win that race, too?
Sensational ride.
Horse has never lifted a hoof. One race. He ran one good race, and his.
I blame Lucas for
I don't know how many
scratching.
good rides he's had since then. Because he got into the race, right? Yes, that's the other part, right? Maybe Steve's not talking to Wayne. I'm interested in Dilger. I looked up somewhere, stats, turnbacks in the dirt. Do you know with 216 starters, turning back from routes to sprints. Safi Joseph is 30% with well over half hitting the board with a 221 ROI for a guy whose horses get bet. This horse got one of the sillier trips I've seen in quite a while last time. He has run a fast figure before. He beat, well, the horse is going to win the Alan Jerkins tomorrow, Reynolds Channel. I don't know if you heard. He's spoken to Lee, but he's winning the Jerkins tomorrow.
Oh, Lee said, what did he say? I told him, I said, I'm going to say it on TV. He said, you can say it. I said, Lee Einsiedler said, this horse is going to hit the board. He told me I could say that.
He also told me, I think Jefferson Street has a big shot in that race. Sorry, Lee. The other Mott. I like this horse on the cutback. He's got one fast number to go to. He had a silly trip last time out. I really like this horse today. I think he's really interesting in here. What about Classified, the other Safi horse? Is he impossible? He too is cutting back, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just that was a blue Timeform US figure thing for me. This is a tough. To me, this is the most complicated race. This is the most wide open race,
Tivy.
obviously.
Well, yeah, we completely agree. What am I missing on Tivy?
I just thought the horse ran super last time.
Really? Loose in the lead?
Yeah. I just thought the horse ran really well. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's. I just blue. The pace was fast. The figures were fast. I just thought the horse.
Which is why you like Edified, because he closed into a slow pace last time out. Fair enough.
Yep.
Race number 9, a lot of different opinions. I think race number 9 is a very fun race. And then we come to the Personal Ensign. I'll never forget. I was at Belmont when Personal Ensign made her debut, and back in those days, horses did not take late punches. It was a different world. It was just the OTB money at the end. She went from 6-5 to 4-5 in the last flash. There were rumors that Mr. Phipps, that was Ogden Mills Phipps, who was the father, the grandfather, had bet him. Somebody said, now I have no idea if that's true, but somebody said that he made a big bet. She didn't even get out of the gate in that race, and she won by 12 3/4. She probably is on that list of my absolute all-time favorites. I saw an enormous amount of her races live, and I don't know about you, but I have watched her winning that Breeders' Cup race hundreds of times, and every time I watch it, I think, are you sure she wins? Because she never looks like she's going to win. And I remember watching it live at that great Churchill Breeders' Cup and literally thinking to myself, oh, man, she's going to lose in her last career start. This is just going to be so depressing. And the day I got just completely buried, I was just happy because she won. I loved her.
Yeah, I mean, something special.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She was. You would have loved her if you were around then.
No doubt.
You would have really loved
No
her.
doubt.
And I know it was a 3-horse field in the Whitney, but to be Gulch, who is, in my opinion, one of the best horses that gets no recognition whatsoever. And King Swan was third in there, and as one of the Jamaicans once said at Aqueduct when he was carrying 130 pounds to victory, nobody passes the Swan. He was a legend unto himself. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about Randomized and Idiomatic, who they're developing quite a rivalry here, which started the Breeders' Cup where they both ran so well, and Randomized got the best of her. And I think the question for you, Jonathan, is Randomized just too fast early and going to clear, or is she going to stalk and they're going to try to be aggressive enough with Idiomatic? And if they are, is she really fast enough to outrun early? Because Randomized, man, she gets out of the gate as fast as any horse in the game.
Well, I think the tricky part is the draw. Right? Because she's outside of her. I mean, I think Joel would be making a mistake if he didn't pop away from there and then make Flo try to make some decisions. I think that, like, conceding to set off of her and letting Idiomatic get comfortable, I think is probably a mistake. I would think she's going to pop away from there and go. Did you think she was going to run well in the Breeders' Cup?
I had no feel for that race, to be honest with you. I thought some horses would run well that didn't do any running at all in there. So I didn't have a good feel. I was on the fence, and it's hard. Listen, I'm going to be honest. This is a horse I'm voting a little with my heart here. I want her to win. I'm a fan of Randomized all along, and I don't see why. To me, she has more blue sky than Idiomatic. Idiomatic, who she is, and I'm not. I know, Brad was talking about it. He said, I know some people think she may not be as good this year as last year. I think one of the differences is she's not able to control races with Randomized in there. I think one of the race things that made her so dominant in the race last year is she was controlling. And she was mostly controlling against a lot of horses that had seen better days. And, Nest was not the horse last year that she was the year before. So how competitive was she really? She beat Secret Oath. Was Secret Oath really that good? So and then when she ran the Breeders' Cup, she had the advantage on Randomized because she was outside of her and she dogged her the whole way. Now it's a little bit different, and I think Randomized might have just gotten a little bit better, and maybe she's not quite as good. And Randomized speed is a bit of kryptonite for her. She lost by a nose to her. It's not like she ran badly at all.
So I was one of those people. I think that Brad was not really talking to me, but generally speaking, one of those people that was wondering if she's lost a step. And when I heard him say that in that post-race interview, to whether it was Maggie or Acacia, that no, I think he wanted to be like, no, she hasn't lost a step. She's still the same horse.
Well, to be fair to Brad, and I have a world of respect for Brad, and he's a very honest guy, as you know well, but he's not going to lose faith in this horse. She's a champion, nor should he lose faith. And the other thing is, I think a lot of these horses, fillies and mares, as they get older, they still work great. They do everything. It's on the racetrack. I don't think you can argue that she has been a little cut below last year. Is that fair?
Well, I think Flo,
let's show her last race and discuss that.
Well, I think Flo's been a little bit conservative, a little confident with her in the way that he's ridden her.
You want to see him be aggressive.
I feel like based on this situation where he almost got him in trouble being a little bit too confident, a little bit too comfortable, I think Flo goes out and says, I'm on the best horse in this race, and I'm going to prove it to all of you. And I think that that's her best chance to run well. It's just, I'm better, and let's go. And it maybe doesn't work. But I think that that's what they're going to try to do.
Okay, no, I think it's a very interesting subplot within the subplot. And by the way, I don't want to knock Sullivan Angel. I mean, Randomized needed her first race, but she blew him off the track, and she showed in this race that she at least belongs in the conversation. And I don't want to hold, not running well in the FIPS to closers, because the closers didn't get in the race, and is evidenced by Raging C's last win. Now, Raging C, when she won the prep for this, the Shoe V, which we'll show right now, maybe she was just finding a softer field. But I'm not convinced that if the speed falls apart in this race, I want Raging C, because I thought her double dog there was really good, and she was a decisive winner, good trip or not, in this race.
Yeah, I know she ran well. I mean, she's definitely the other horse. I just worry if Raging C is one of those, like, kind of grade 3, grade 2 types where she can win those races,
against the big
but
girls.
when the big girls show up, it's just a little too deep of waters for her.
So why is Zagera not that horse?
Because last year, she had a 3-race run where I thought, wow, she could turn in to the best older filly.
You and my friend Caitlin Free.
Yeah, I thought she was
She's
spectacular.
taking a little egg in her face on this one this year.
But I do think she had an excuse in all of her 3 races this year. I think that she got the sloppy racetrack, maybe needed the race. She was, she
what
made
was her
the front
the next time.
Made the front maybe that's just not her style. Made the front in a slow pace race and then was extremely wide last time. Look, I'm trying to get creative for the longest shot on the board.
I'm just asking.
I will say this. I picked Zagera before I heard Brad remind me that maybe, Idiomatic is going to be the real Idiomatic again.
But I still we're listening to trainers now?
No,
Who
but
pays attention to those guys?
but I like to hear what people say, and then I make my own decisions, especially if that was the question I was asking myself, and for him to answer it without me asking it, it worked for me.
It's Phil Bauer. His horses have run incredibly well here, especially over the last few years. I'm not going to fall out of my chair, but I have just not seen it from her. And I think she has shown more than Raging C that she doesn't show up when the big girls are in town. And even though you and I both think Scylla is a major player in the Ballerina tomorrow, she has not shown herself necessarily to be a top-tier horse against these.
Zagera has not run the race this year that wins this race.
Right.
But I think she has run the race last fall as a 3-year-old. If she can get it together, then I think she can.
She's a big price. I'm not going to knock that. We'll see what happens in the Personal Ensign for, without question, one of my favorite horses of all time. And I think a lot of people out there share that sentiment. She was a hero. Race number 11. It's a funny race number 11. What'd you do here?
I went the 7, My Bronx Baby.
Oh, of course. I was going to pick her, but then I stopped drinking. What is going on here?
Well,
you just love those Joe DeRico horses?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for speed in turf sprints. You
love those Matolis on the turf? They're just lawnmowers. She'll be a price.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. The mom ran on the turf. Wasn't great. Ran on the turf. The Grand Dam was at Glen Hill.
You're not allowed to say here's the thing on the show.
What?
I'm just telling you. Stabile would not, but Jason Blewett not going to be happy if you say there's the thing. I'm just letting you know.
And then the Grand Dam was a Glen Hill turf horse. This horse has a little bit of pedigree and has a lot of speed.
A little.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit and a lot.
Yeah, it's a
totally wasn't Escondrea, Giants Causeway.
I loved Escondrea. He would have won the Triple Crown.
I think so too.
He was an absolute monster in a year that was crying. He was arrogant against the competition when he was a 3-year-old.
What year was that? Who won that one?
Icebox was second, so Super Saver won, I think, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Todd would still have 2 or 3. How many derbies does he have? 2? He'd
Always
still have a derby
Dreaming,
win because he would have won the
Super
derby
Saver.
instead of Super Saver. He was freakishly good. He was freakishly good, Escondrea. Amazing the number of incredibly good horses the Zayats had. When you think about it, and he was one of them, and he just never got to show it. I like Bustin' Bullet in here. We're going to take a look at Bustin' Bullet's turf sprint last year, when second to Lady Mia, who would be 1-5 in here, and she ran well. And now she's going into Safi Joseph's barn. And Safi actually turf sprints on trainer switches. He's 6 for 23, 10 hitting the board with a 244 ROI. And you know, you start to take this horse apart, and who she's running today against, who she's running with last time, right? She's been running against some better horses, and the way Safi's horse are running, I know it hasn't been a lot of success in the turf, but this is a horse that has run figures on the turf that make her super competitive here and gets into this barn, and I'm all in.
Yeah, I don't. You have convinced me.
You got to use this horse.
Yeah, no,
you got to put this horse in there
it's
somewhere.
those back numbers. The last two races, it's
not
the
so
back,
great.
It's,
well, one's a mile.
It's the back numbers and the fact that he's switching to Safi, who's having an outstanding meet. So you'd like to think there's going to be another improve there. Blinkers off, a lot of changes going on. The horse makes a ton of sense.
We'll see what happens with that horse. What about who else? Oh, what about Aunt Yola? You've got her fourth. I've got her fourth. I will say one thing. She was good last time. Now, I know that geopolitics, your favorite horse, finds ways to abdicate. If he loses tomorrow, by the way, we can take a look at Aunt Yola's race. If he loses tomorrow, he's never going to win, ever, in his entire life, going to win a race.
Yeah. No,
are we having a problem with Aunt Yola, guys? Somebody sleeping in the truck? You having a problem?
Oh.
You should be very sorry. No, you shouldn't. Just kidding. They do not have the Aunt Yola video.
I thought she ran well, but that's the problem, is that
Last time's the time.
geopolitics is why I'm blaming geopolitics for why I'm mad at her.
But last time was also the time for her. We both have Super's Lucky Lady. You originally didn't like her because I thought she got a perfect trip last time from Romero. Maybe she lost to better horses. I mean, Boston Law got off the AEs the other day and won by 100, right? So maybe Super's Lucky Lady was just running against a better field, and I think she's dangerous.
This is what I liked about her. She's tactical. And in her last two races, she got pocket trips where she was comfortable down there. She didn't win, but she was comfortable down there. She's going to get that exact same trip again. She just needs to run a little bit better.
No quick power nap, picking up Pratt. Pace falls apart. You've got two speeds, 1-2 in here. You got the old two. I've managed to find the only horse, Flying P horses meet that sucked out there in Act of Congress. I found her.
I think I've bet this horse maybe 4 times in a row, because I'm a sucker for.
Well,
but the other thing too is that one of them could get loose if the 7 doesn't fire or the 12. You know, in these races where there's 2 speeds, because I love speed so much in turf sprints, I'll take both of them. Because if you got a little ant there, but yeah, I'll take both of them.
Speeds, I have a problem.
Because so often one of them just still gets loose.
Isn't Tariga going to go with the blinkers on? Isn't she a little forward in here?
Not as fast as those two.
Probably not. We'll see what happens. I don't like Fabulous Fox, but do you know what the Fabulous Fox is?
I
love
don't.
to do this to you. It's the famous theater in downtown Atlanta, the Fabulous Fox Theater.
Oh,
it's a famous theater.
So that's a little Dean Reeves probably action.
Well, that's why Dean Reeves, because he's from Atlanta.
Okay.
Of course, absolutely. No question about it. I saw the Dead there, in case you're wondering, 1985.
Did you see the Dead when they played at Cameron?
Yeah, the last show they played there, 1982, first show of the spring tour.
Wow.
First tour I went on.
It's a cool place, Cameron.
Cameron? Oh, yeah, for sure. I love Cameron. I've gone with a friend who a number of times. Yeah, it's funny now going, you realize how small it is. But when I saw the Dead there, I didn't realize just how small it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw them there on the opening show of the 1982 spring tour. I think it was April 2nd. And then 4 days later in Philadelphia, it was snowing. Race number 12. This is a good race. And I'll tell you about race number 12. The horse that you have second, I'm going to try to beat this horse. I don't have anything against Strife. He's logical, or she's logical, excuse me. She ran well, finishing. This is where she finished second to Beats, who somehow was last early after breaking her maiden. I thought Gazin Cruiser, considering how the pace held together in here, actually ran really well in here. I think she's a little more dangerous, second-time starter.
Yeah, I just felt like those two horses, Dazzling Cruiser and Strife, those two races were obviously the best that these horses have run. I will say this, the 1A drawing in, I just want to make sure I say that out loud, the 1A drawing, I think that horse could be tough. But, yeah, the 3 Dazzling Cruiser, typical for me, closing into a slow pace. I talk about, I love those horses. I feel like they don't get appreciated as much because it's kind of hard to find. It's hard to see.
I agree. Now, I have a very special announcement, which you'll like. Jonathan will be in the dunk tank at 2:15. I will be in the dunk tank at 1 o'clock. but in just about 10 minutes, I think 10 minutes, Dave O'Rourke will be in the dunk tank. Dave will be in the dunk tank. And I'm going to tell you, he's a big baby, just letting you know. So I think there's a real chance that somebody can make him cry. I know he tries to pretend he's a tough guy, but he's really a big baby, and he's going to be over the dunk tank in 10 minutes. So get over there by Dunkin' Donuts. You have my permission. The show's almost over. You can get there even if you stay for the show. Dave will be in tears. The dunk tank will hide his tears, but I guarantee you he will be in tears. So go over there and spend a few dollars. Give it to Baxter Employment. Don't just dunk me and JK. Dave is the man you got to dunk. You're all blaming him on Twitter for everything in Earth. Get over there and dunk him. Dunk his butt over there. Make him cry. So head on over by Dunkin' Donuts. Dave O'Rourke will be there in maybe about 7 minutes now. All right, where else are we in this race?
The 10. You picked the 10.
Right. What about Catalyzed? I know there was ran at Monmouth. I'm not so sure those races weren't pretty good. Wrigleyville's no bum that beat this horse first time out.
Wrigleyville might have could have won last time.
It's maybe the only Wooten Bassett that Harvest Stable ever had that could do any running.
Yeah, I mean,
Wrigleyfield got sawed off in that race last time. Yeah.
Which leads to your pick, Jack Sisterson horse. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with Catalyze. I what happened last time? And
The horse that won is no bum. I mean, she was a little overbet last time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Time From US has this race fast. I'm not telling you it's the be-all and end-all. I'm taking the 10, V Arena. This horse ran third in, a Group 3. I watched the race. She had a very good pocket trip in there, but still, and that's a pretty good race. And I'm just wondering if this horse coming over here might just have found a field she can beat.
Yeah, I completely agree. I used the horse. I went with the ones I trusted a little bit more. Yeah, but the horse was competitive. Worked well on the turf last time as well.
Let's touch on a couple others. The 12, who you have fourth. There's a lot of turf pedigree on this horse.
Yeah, and that's
full to onus.
Yeah, I thought the horse, has been breaking slowly. Want to get that resolved, but the last 4 turf work, Shug decides to run on the turf. There's turf pedigree.
How about the entry? Timestone has credentials. I mean, she ran okay, and Pisciata, bad post or not, gets in. I mean, they could both win this race, right?
Yeah. I like Pisciata more, but I don't have a. It's a good multi-race entry because you get 2 horses locked up in there, and
Chad Brown's finally giving up on Save Time as a dirt horse, but you're getting a horse that's buried you twice at odds on. That's going to be a much bigger price. I don't like her, but
no, this horse all dirt.
I've had enough.
This is 100%, and I don't blame anyone for doing it.
Desperate move.
Let's just see what happens.
No, I agree. She's been frustrating. Jonathan, it was a pleasure as always is. Dave O'Rourke getting over in that dunk tank, so get over there, make fun of him, dunk him, spend a few dollars for a very, very worthy cause, the Backstretch Employee Services Team. I'll be there at 1 o'clock, Jonathan at 2:15. It's a gorgeous day here in Saratoga. It's Travers Eve. Head over to Naira Bets to start your day off the right way if you haven't been there. Spot 250 is the promo code. Also, check out Track Stats when you're over there as well. We have a $15 bonus if you bet 75 or more at Here and Penn National. Opt-in over at Naira Bets. 50,000 Travers Hit and Split Series. Check out, get all that information at Naira Bets as well. We also have a contest tomorrow. You have until post time tomorrow. $300 buy-in, cash, and seat prizes. Check it out, the information, nairabets.com/contest. Cost Pick 5. Woodbine, 3 stakes there, including the King's Plate that's been rescheduled. I have no word whether the King's making an appearance there. I'm guessing not, but, it was rescheduled, so he has a chance to get over.
Yeah, you never know.
Purcell Ensign involved in there as well, and also Monmouth race number 8. And the show, 12:30 to 7 on FS2, but I'm going right over there, and I am going to heckle Dave O'Rourke. So let's get over to the dunk tank and the for best. A very, very worthy cause and a lot of fun today over in the dunk tank. A great day here in Saratoga. Jonathan, thanks again. Frank Mirabati up next, reprise, Scratched and Changes.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Racing fans, be sure to stop by the Dunk Tank today. Between now and 2:30, it's located right by the Dunkin', and donate for a chance to dunk multiple jockeys, trainers, and other racing personalities. All donations go to a great cause as they directly benefit the Backstretch Employee Service Team. Up next, the Chief Executive Officer of the New York Racing Association. From now until 12:15, if you'd like to put Dave O'Rourke underwater, this is your chance.